Hi guys, welcome to my podcast. My name is Nicole and I am the brains and the beauty behind Yarn Craft by Nicole. Today I am rocking my Anthea Jumper. I've worn this a couple of times out and about, but I think this is the first time I've worn it on the podcast. Finished this a few weeks ago. The pattern is still in testing. I think it comes out maybe in a week. I'll let you know down below after I double check that, but it does come out pretty soon. I love this. It's from HollyWoodwardDesigns. It's got this cool ombre effect as it comes up, and it's made in panels. It works up very quickly and uses Aran weight yarn. I actually used a worsted weight myself. This is Berocco Vintage, which I like as a budget-friendly yarn, and yeah, I really like this. I probably, just for my own comfort level, because the neckline is pretty wide, I probably will go back over it. It's flattering for sure, but I feel like I move around too much and I think I might like another couple of rows there, but it's really cute. I like this a lot. I would make this again, and it has little balloon sleeves. I'm a fan. So this is the Anthea Jumper from HollyWoodwardDesigns. Okay, so I was originally going to record a podcast last week before we went on our trip to Cali, but I didn't. Work the day before and just other stuff went a little longer than I thought. So no sweat. It's been 2 weeks and I have so very many things to show you. Surprisingly though, I don't have any finished whips or any finished objects to show you. The first thing is something that I don't think I had started the last time that we talked. This is a pattern test that I'm doing that Wonderland was very kind to provide the yarn support for, which was great. So they sent me the yarn that I needed for this, and I think I got it right after I filmed the last podcast on here. So I have pretty much been working on this nonstop because the pattern test is due like second week of April, something like that. And it's a long sleeve cardigan and I knew I was behind. So let me show you how far I got. I've gotten very far. So this is a bottom up cardigan and I have split for the armhole. So I did my panels first. Let me show you kind of so this can make sense. I did the front panels of the cardigan first. So one, they would look even and all that jazz. And then now I'm working on the back panel. So I'm really liking the way this is working up. It's beautiful, it's very soft. This is Wonderland's Marianne sock base, and it's on the color Victorian China, which I really like. So I am a huge fan of this, and the stitch pattern on this is crazy cool. So it's half double crochets and linked double trebles, which basically kind of work up like sideways Tunisian. So I like this. This has a really pretty drape. It's a little creamier and like more pastel than I usually go. But I like that a lot. I will tell you that I made a silly mistake, which is going to change a little bit of how I finish this project. So the pattern designer is Sweet Crochet Dreams, Mariana. She is from South Africa and she's wonderful. And of course, because she is from any place other than the US, all of the measurements were in centimeters, which is fine. Like I did the bust measurement in centimeters, understood how that will work. But when I sent the amount of yarn that I needed to Wonderland, I did not convert yardage to meters. So they sent me the right amount of yardage and I had been reading it wrong in the pattern. Like yeah, I need 2,300 yards. Perfect. And they sent me 2,300 yards. And then last night it hit me that I need 2,300 meters, and meters are longer than yards. So I reached out to the designer and I was like, hey, originally I was going to do it all this one colorway. my dumb behind did not translate this when I got the yarn. I'm a little worried I won't have enough time for them to dye another skein to send it to me. Are you okay with a contrasting color on the band that goes in the middle and on the cuffs? And she said, totally fine. I was like, whew, good, because I didn't think my local yarn store would have this colorway. I hadn't seen it in person before. I had only ever seen it on Wonderland's website. And again, not Wonderland's fault. Oh, they didn't send me enough yarn. My fault. They didn't send me enough yarn. So today I got this colorway to go with this. Can you handle it? I looked at a lot of yarn because originally I was going to pick up another skein of Wonderland, but my local yarn store actually didn't have Wonderland in this weight. They had it in sport weight and worsted weight. They had it in a lot of other weights, but they didn't have it in a fingering weight. So I looked at a lot of different fingering weights, and I was just gonna try to pull, goodness, what hair is that? One of these speckle colors out. I thought like this really pretty blue would look really nice with it, but none of them were right. And then some of the ones that were close to the solid colors, if the yarn was just one solid color, it seemed too stark of a difference. Like this is hand dyed with the speckles and then just a solid color. It didn't make sense. So I got this really pretty color, and I like it because it's got that dark blue and some of the purple color. And I think it's just gonna look really pretty. Like it's coming across very nice on camera. This is Malabrigo. Y'all know I love Malabrigo. And honestly, I feel like I've used Malabrigo and Wonderland together before, and it worked really well. So they're very similar in the way that they feel. The twist is similar. They're good yarn buddies. So I got this today to do the, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like the interior ribbing along the cardigan and then the cuffs. So I should be good now with the yarn that I need for this project. So I'm very happy about that. And I've gotten through a lot of the work, and I should be able to finish the back panel, maybe the back panel and even the interior ribbing, because the designer says to do the interior ribbing first to make sure that everything is laying properly before you do the sleeves, so that you don't do your sleeves to the right length and then it like draws up. Makes sense. So with all of that, that's why I needed to get this so soon. Anyway, I think I can get through the back panel and this maybe over the weekend and start the sleeves. That's my goal. We'll see if that happens, but I'm really liking the way that this works up. When we were visiting some friends over last weekend in California, they have a fantastically spunky and bright 6-year-old daughter, and she loved this yarn. She's like, it looks like berry cake. And my yarn had been in a little cake. I'm like, you are a genius, because this is a yarn cake. And she and I had a little impromptu crochet school. She just wanted to kind of get a feel for how it worked, and so we made a really cute doll sleeping bag that she designed. Like she drew out what she wanted it to look like, and then I manufactured it with some yarn she had picked out from the yarn store. And in that yarn store, we went through and we're like, okay, like let's see what we can find. And we did squish tests of the yarn, and anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to play with yarn with someone who is new to yarn. So that is that project. And then I really have 2 projects that I've been working on mostly since I've seen you. Like I still have the Tunisian baby blanket that I haven't, like once I started this cardigan, I haven't really gone back to that. I've got the Hoist the Colors cowl that I might have done a row or 2 on, but once this is done, theoretically I'll have more time for smaller projects. And there are a lot of baby blankets that I need to get out. Like we have friends that are due in May, and I haven't started theirs yet, so that really needs to happen pretty soon. The other project that I just started a couple of days ago is another pattern test that I signed up for, and that's the Peony Peplum Dress. This is from Haley Handcrafted. I love testing for her, and she wrote the dress pattern for her daughter and designed it for kid sizes, and then was like, maybe I'll have a couple of adult testers too, because her patterns are very easy to customize to different sizes. And I'm like, cool, I'll test it as an adult size. And she had so much interest in the adult sizes that she's like, oh, we just need to have an adult pattern test separate from the other one. So I say all that to say, it's due in May. I started it this week because I needed to get caught up on the frosted Pathways cardigan. But I finally picked out yarn and bought it this week because I felt like I had enough of the cardigan done to start this. So this is all I have done so far. Is that? Yeah, that's the right side. So it's got a really cool texture. And basically, like, you work the top of your dress, and then, which has these puff sleeves, it's very cute, and then you work the bottom of your dress. And I am using a new to me yarn called Big Twist Panoramic, and it is 100% acrylic yarn. I think these were like, I think they were listed as like $8 a cake at Joann, but then all the yarn was 20% off when I shopped, and I had a $10 off when you spend 50 coupon. So it was very affordable, and it is a fine, it's listed as a weight too, like a sport. I'd say it's probably a sport. And I got this color for most of the dress. They had 4 cakes of this, which is mostly what I think I would need for the dress, but I was afraid that I might need a little bit more. So let me show you the colors that I picked to go along with this. And this is the color Mint. It feels really good. I like that yarn a lot. It does not surprise me in the least that I like a Big Twist yarn, because I generally like their yarns. And this one too, I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you can tell on camera that it's got a little bit of darker parts in the twist, lighter parts of the twist. It feels really nice. It's a smidge splitty, but not enough to keep me from working on it, and is very soft. I like this a lot. I would use that again. So I bought a lot of the Mint. Usually with Mint, I might pair, like, I don't know, purples, blues, pretty mermaidy colors. They had some, but none of them were speaking to me. And then I was like, oh, what about orange? So I bought a cake of the orange, and then I also bought a cake of this guy. So the majority of the dress will all be mint. And then just along the bottom border, I'll do a little bit of this color, which is Clementine, and a little bit of this color, which is Rust. And then I'll have lots of this left over, I imagine. But I don't know, this just seemed fun. It seemed like a fun dress. Kind of reminds me of going to the circus, lollipops, summer. I'm happy with it. Originally, I was going to do a cotton for this dress, but I couldn't find a cotton that I really liked in Joann, and I didn't want to wait for me to order it. And I wanted this to be a budget-friendly yarn that I was using for this test, and not a hand-dyed cotton, even though I love hand-dyed cotton. So really enjoying that, loving that a lot. And those are really the only two. I'm sure you can hear Scoot walking around now. The only two whips in progress. That's redundant. The only 2 whips I've got going. But I do have a lot of cool yarn to show you. One of which I forgot I had ordered. And then it came in, I was like, oh, happy surprise to me. And that are these beauties. And they're so cute. So these are from the Frosted Stitch. She is a Canadian yarn dyer. I love her lots. I've used her yarn for the, the rancher shawl that I did with all the minis. And then I've bought a couple of other of her skeins that I haven't used in projects yet, but I have some ideas on how to. There's one that's Jaws inspired yarn, and I want to make a cowl that has little shark fins along the bottom. I think after I finish the pattern test that I've got going on for the honeymoon wrap, and after, like, maybe when summer hits, part of me wants to have that done by Shark Week. I think that that's possible. But anyway, I say all that to say she was having a sale on yarn because she was needing to buy a cabinet, a warming cabinet to help with her health. And so she had this great deal and everything. I'm like, I want to help her buy this, and I love her yarn. So I bought a mini set, and these are all one-of-a-kind minis, like test minis, as she was doing some color work. And the listing said for 5 minis, I think it was like, I don't know, 40 bucks Canadian, which is 30-ish bucks US. But she sent me 7, which was perfect. So I love them all. And this one I love, but I feel like he's a little different than the rest. So what I'm thinking is, get these in the order that I like, is taking these 6 beautiful colors and doing like a dark queen inspired cowl. I think that could be so cool. And like maybe even have the bottom have little picos that almost look like crowns. I don't know. I think it could be cool. But one of these days I will design that. I will also say, and then I'll just save this little guy for another project because he's super cute. There's just no blue in these. These are all green friends. But he would be super cute. Maybe Scoot needs a little bandana out of that. That would work for a little Scoot bandana. So I love these. And Krista's great. Love Krista. I tell you, her collections are just, they seem a little off the wall, and they're also perfect. I love her yarn. So that was one thing that I got recently. And then I got the yarn for the dress, and the other thing that I got, so today was a cool day because someone who I am yarn friends with online was in the area. She's like, hey, you're near U of M, you're in Michigan, you want to come hang out while I'm in the area? I was like, yeah, I do. So we got to go to my local yarn store, Spun, and just chat and look at pretty yarn and buy pretty yarn. So that is where I got this morning. And then the other things that I got were for a custom order that someone wanted me to make. It's a cute, it kind of looks like a takeout box almost, because you make 4 strips and then you seam them together, and then you kind of have little edges at the top. It'll make sense once I start making it, but she wanted it to be in shades of green. And I looked at Joann first, and I just didn't see shades of green that weren't stark or that weren't too bright. So went to my local yarn store and I got some minis. I don't know, because I've never made this bag before, quite how much yarn each of these stripes will take, but these were my favorite greens that I saw. They're all from Emma's Yarn, which we really like. They all have adorable names. And then I've got this kind of taupey color to connect all the colors with. So this one is called Best Buds. Perfect. This one is called Take a Hike. I think Take a Hike might be my favorite. And then this one is called Shake. Very cute. And then this one I really liked. It's called Beach Please. It doesn't have an exclamation point in the name, but I feel like that's how you have to say it. I would be very surprised if I used all of this for the bag, but I thought I would use more than the mini had in it, and I feel like I can throw it in another project. So anyway, that was my other, like, look at how pretty those are together. That was my other purchase of yarn this morning, which was a lot of fun. We love purchasing yarn. I'm a big fan of yarn, in case you couldn't tell. Bit of a yarn enthusiast. The other thing that I wanted to show you is this wonderful bag. So you might have seen this before. This is my Go Anywhere bag, and it is a drawstring bag. It has a scalloped edge. It's a good size. I made this with worsted weight yarn. It is a pretty simple bag. And I had someone reach out to me who purchased this bag and was like, hey, I think there might be some errors in the pattern. I was like, probably are some errors in the pattern. This is one of the first ones I wrote a couple years ago. Lay them on me. So she was awesome in helping me figure out some of the issues, including me overcomplicating a stitch, because this ribbing is all just double crochet and front post double crochet, but I had it written stupidly confusing. So I say this to say, one of the things that I'm going to be doing this year is going back through some of my old patterns, taking another look at them, and making some tweaks. And this is the first one that I've done that with. So on Ravelry, this one has been updated to fix all of those issues, take out some of the typos, make sure that the repeats make sense. And I'm going to be doing that with other patterns too. And I'll try to mention on here which ones I have updated. You can also find this on my website, yarncraftbynicole.com. And that is where my patterns will now live. So they'll live on Ravelry and they'll also live on my website. I'm taking my patterns off of Etsy just so that I get more of the commission from them. I still have a lot of the finished items on Etsy, or made to order items like the gnomes that I make are still on Etsy, and they probably will for a little while I figure out how to do more of the weighing and shipping options to make that make sense on my website. But with digital downloads, it's way easier to do all of that on the website, and I get to keep more of the profits I make there. So this is the Go Anywhere bag. I like this bag a lot. I want to make another one. I gave one of mine away. I gave my sample one away for my 1K giveaway on Insta. And it looks really cool in a variegated yarn. So very happy about that. And that, I think that wraps up about all that I have this week. So this week, what I can't let go is kind of twofold. One, next weekend, I will be at the Midwest Craft Con. If you're there, come by me and say hey. And I'm really excited about that because it's the first craft convention that I've gone to, and it feels like another step in making this a full-time business, which is what I would like yarn craft to be. And going along with that, I'm having my first pattern tested, which has been a very good, slightly humbling experience on my end. Anytime that you ask people to criticize your work, you are going to get criticism, and that is a good thing. So that has all been good, and it feels like I'm making some boss babe moves, which I like. So that's kind of what I can't let go of, is seeing how yarn craft is growing, seeing how it is making steps to making this more than a hobby. So thank you for all of your support. If you've ever bought one of my patterns, or just your support here by watching these videos. If you like those videos, make sure that you like and subscribe or share. And if there's anything else that you want to see from me, let me know in the comments below. And with that, I will see you next week. Bye guys.